Hello and welcome to today's content, which will be on Engelbert since he has EX I believe a week or two ago, and yeah, I'm a little late to this, but yeah, it's better to get it done now than never. Without further ado, let's begin. So for the abilities, Engelbert's main job is going to be the Paladin. As a base unit, he's going to get Saintly Healing, Blade Bash, Immortal Spirit, Saintly Wall, Saintly Cross, and his limit break is going to be Enduring Fortitude. For his EX upgrade for Paladin, he's going to get Immortal Conviction, which changes up Immortal Spirit to not only give him Guts, pretty much, or the Immortal Spirit, as well as giving him Hate up, which is going to be very nice to have. This is excellent to use. Outside of that, his EX ability is going to be Retribution Drain, which it's going to do physical damage, but it's going to be a typeless attack, however, but it will have a light element to it as well. And this will basically also increase in terms of how much damage it can deal, depending on how much HP he loses, as well as absorbing 50% of the damage. So depending on the setup, this can deal a decent amount of damage, but it won't be like anything super crazy of value unless you are weak to like physical damage and or light element. Now, for subjobs, his Paladin subjob is going to have some important features here, where he's going to have Sentinel, which is very nice to have, and most importantly, Taunting Blade, to make sure that he can keep his hate generation up if it ever runs out or gets dispelled. So yeah, that is going to be important in general. From here, he has his Knight subjob. It's going to be mostly just debuffs and perils, and then we have his Monk subjob, which is going to be mostly for strike type damage if you are using it for that scenario. So for resistances and passes for Engelbert, he has 20% to slash, 5% to pierce, 25% to strike, 20% to missile, and negative 30% to magic. So as you can see here, overall he is very mostly physically attack damage, very like resistant, but he's very weak to magic attack types in general. He has 0% to AoE, 0% to single target, and at level 120, with his master ability included, he has 27 defense and 0 spirit. His resistances to statuses will be 50% to slow and immobilize, and then 5% to charm. His master ability will be increasing his defense by 15, which is already added to his level 120 with his master ability included above. He is a 3 move, 1 jump, 70 cost UR unit, meaning he is pretty cost efficient because he is not 80, 90, or 100 cost. For his passives, what I would highly recommend is going to be his Holy Knight's Protection, which is the EX upgraded version when it turns into Holy Knight's Auspice, which is very nice to have. Additionally, outside of that, you would also be using his HP up passive. For Niche and Flex, he gets Divine Protection and Strike Master, which I just don't see a very good reason to use on him. And then he does have another HP up passive, but there's no reason to use another one when already Holy Knight's Auspice already gives him HP and defense as well as healing power as too. For his reaction abilities, he's going to have Paladin's Guard, Sword Guard, and Fist Counter. In my honest opinion, if you wanted to flex him in terms of, I guess, reaction ability damage, it would be Sword Guard, but I would highly recommend using Paladin's Guard when you're going to be fighting only physical compositions, because that is literally what Engelbert does best. It will be going against physical damage as well as using Paladin Guard for that scenario. Now, moving on to Engelbert's rating out of 5. Unfortunately for Engelbert, he will be a 3 out of 5 for many significant reasons. But we'll go with his pros first. So he has insanely high physical damage mitigation alongside his Guts and Immortal Spirit, which is very nice. He has insanely high HP. I believe he actually has higher HP than King Mont as well. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. He does have a very poor attack stat, however. He has extremely low agility of like, it's literally one of the lowest in the game for a UR unit that's level 120. He has 27 base defense and he has 39 with a passive, however, so he really is physically tanky. Additionally, the 20 healing power on his passive will allow for him to life drain more from his retribution action, as well as getting healing received as well. So if he's able to stay alive, keep hate, and you have like a healer or support healing him, he will survive for a very long time against physical damage. As much as I keep reiterating it, he's really made for physical damage tanking. He is not really made for anything else besides physical damage tanking, and I say that very confidently. He does have a TP hate ability, which is very important, and it could be used alongside Taunting Blade continuously to keep maintaining hate. Keep in mind, due to how hate reacts, if you did use the hate TP ability and then use Taunting Blade, it will not actually raise your hate until either one is used a second time. In that regard, unless it is dispelled and then you use the other ability, then that is fine. Due to his immense HP pool, his retribution drain can actually be very good for his self-sustaining, like during a fight. It's not gonna be like healing him for like insane amounts unless you do a lot of damage, which won't happen very often. But it's still something that you can't just ignore because it does heal a decent amount. He can reach actually above 100 defense with Sentinel and with a defensive setup. So this is kind of crazy that if a unit does not have defense penetration or defense like imperils, they will literally do 1 damage to Engelbert. Literally 1 damage. So just going off that, if you do not have defense penetration as a physical unit against Engelbert, you will be doing 1 damage. He is able to use slash and strike attack types based on his sub-job. I'm not going to necessarily say they're effective or strong, but he still has the option to do so. He also has the typeless attack from Retribution Drain, which can also be utilized as well. For his cons, first off, he has no base spirit, and he has absolutely horrible magic attack resistance and literally 0 tools to mitigate magic damage in general outside of Sentinel, because Sentinel will give him at least 1 turn of like a good amount of spirit. Outside of that, however, he has literally nothing. He has literally one of the lowest agilities in the game, and it allows for other units to outpace him and lap at a higher chance. I saw some people saying, oh, why don't you just put Odin Esper on him? There are 2 things I have to say here. If he is using Odin, what is stopping other tanks from using Odin as well? That is literally just gonna increase the agility gap like even more. 2, Odin is a very good physical slash, I said slash, but like physical slash and or human killer DPS Esper as well. That is taking away from your potential physical DPS if they were in the same party. So you have to keep that in mind as well. His resistances overall are great against most physical types. However, units with very high defense penetration like Cloud, who can easily reach, he has a base of 60% defense penetration, or he can go 70 or even 100% if he wanted with Oldo's Apron, or magic damage of even any attack type will cut through his core defenses and mitigation. Like even if he has 91 defense and he's still at his 20% slash resistance, if a magical slasher unit hit him, they will do significant damage to him regardless of his high defense because they're hitting his magic damage defense. So yeah. Ironically, his entire, not his entire, but 99% of his kit and his role is literally mitigated and disposed of with a single dispel. If he uses his guts and like hate ability up and you just dispel it and he doesn't use it again because you are already fighting now and he's just auto attacking, he not only is going to be doing very poor damage compared to a lot of other units, he will also not be maintaining hate. So that's why dispels are going to be insanely good against the Engelbert if you did have one. After that, he is very vulnerable to disable and stop, and he doesn't have resistances to those, so those are very important to think about. He kind of mandatorily needs his Paladin sub-job if you want to make use of his tank role, which you should be doing in the first place. This is going to be primarily used for Sentinel and Taunting Blade. It is possible that if he does get dispelled, but he gets a Taunting Blade off, he does resume tanking because he got his hate back from Taunting Blade. So that is something to consider. His damage options are extremely lackluster compared to other tanks, and he doesn't really have any like abilities for it, like outside of it. Like he does not have any abilities that hit too hard. Obviously Retribution Drain is actually a very good decent like option. However, it's still not going to be hitting very hard, especially compared to some other like tanks that have like better utility or attacking abilities. So that's why his role really is just going to be tanking. Like he does not have too much variance out of it. He has no barrier breaks, he has no 100% hits, he has no imperils, he has debuffs only on the sub job. Engelbert really does not have much utility and usage out of his gimmick, which is just going to be physical tanking and trying to survive as long as possible with his guts as well as Retribution Drain. Like you won't really be expecting anything else out of him because he's not really capable enough to do it. As I said earlier, because he has low agility, coupled this with his low mobility as well, if you put him on a long map like the map we have coming out right now at this reset, which is the Mines Entrance map for Guild Wars, he will not get anywhere in time to the other side before your other 2 units are already diving in, and he will probably be left alone 1v3, and it's just not gonna look pretty. Like he is so slow and he has poor mobility that he will be better off in a shorter map in my opinion. Like he does not have that flexibility. Additionally, he is a light unit, meaning he has to worry about dark units overall. Dark units in general will do high damage to him just overall if he's not mitigating it. While Dwayne will struggle to deal damage against Engelbert significantly, Helena can actually one-shot Engelbert very, very quickly and easily unless he's heavily mitigating, like invested in mitigation against magic damage. Like, he will literally drop dead so fast with that. It's crazy. He's very reliant on using his Immortal Conviction, that's his hate ability, as well as giving him Immortal Spirit. If he does not get this off, not only does he not have any innate hate, he has to use Taunting Blade to get like hate gain on himself outside of Immortal Conviction. So it's really important he uses this ability. This also means that he needs that upgrade from his EX jobs. Like anywhere before it or prior to it, I do not believe he's really a very usable unit as of right now in the meta. Outside of this, he's not really able to flex out of a tank role, as I said earlier. Even his DPS rolls are not that good, and his debuffing from his Knight sub-job are not very useful compared to other units that can do that job much easier, safer, and better. So that's why, overall, I do think he's a 3 out of 5 unit. If you do use him in like arena and such that you know opponents you're hitting and you can choose them easily, if you're hitting a physical damage team, Engelbert is like perfect for the job. He has insanely good physical damage tanking. However, because in like mostly like Guild Wars situations and or like those like live PvP considerations, there is a lot less flexibility you need a lot more flexibility to make sure the unit is well. So that's why at most I do believe that Engelbert is a 3 out of 5 in most niche circumstances. Now for his TMR chase rating, honestly it's a 1 out of 5. I don't even think you should look at this at all, but I'll go with it anyways. It's called Solidus Shield. It is a shield type in the TMR slot. It gives 584 HP, which is a lot, and 12 defense. However, here is the catch. Only 2, actually it might be only 2 units right now in the game. Only Paladin units and or shield units like Charlotte can use this. So as to my knowledge right now off the top of my head, I think only Engelbert and Charlotte can use this, which is very, very not good, especially when Charlotte's own shield is significantly better than this. It's literally like, this TMR is so garbage in my opinion. And the active ability is called Loyal Blitz, which you're going to consume your HP. Why would you want to do that? And increase your attack by 75% for 3 turns for yourself. Remember, you want to be using Immortal Conviction as your first thing. And 2, Engelbert is not going to be there for your DPS. And same thing with Charlotte, you don't want her dying with you don't want her lowering her HP even further. Like, it's not a good idea. I don't think this TMR is good at all, and it's almost used in 0 situations compared to other TMRs that can actually provide more active abilities as well as the bestow ability, like just equipping as well. The HP is high, defense is high, however there are other items that are much more capable than this and that can give agility. So yeah, overall this is my rating on Engelbert. And here is my example setup for Engelbert. I will say right now as a disclaimer, this team, if I was to use it in arena, would never be hitting any dark units and or it would not be hitting magic units if possible. It will be focused on mostly hitting physical damage units. Here we have Aerith, who's going to be using the Solidus Vision card, not only to boost his slash resistance, but HP even further for Engelbert. This will get him literally up to almost 11k HP. Additionally, Aerith not only can increase Engelbert's defense as well as spirit and keep healing him up, this allows Engelbert to get literally 100 defense if she uses her defense like her defense up ability for healing. Kilfei is mostly going to be here to kind of couple with Engel. She's going to be using like Spirit Ward, I believe, which will give him a good amount of magic resistance, but also because they're both light and can take advantage of the science of Beolov. If I said that wrong, please don't kill me, but yeah, they can make use of that vision card, not only for the agility because Engelbert is super slow, but also the light slash up by 35, which would be very beneficial. And for here, we have Engelbert with this build specifically. We have the pod item from Nier collaboration. If you do not have this, that is very unfortunate. We have the Brigadine armor, which is the AoE resistance, as well as giving them a huge amount of HP and defense. And then we have the Magicite mask, which is from Whisper's TMR, which gives all attack resistances 5% more. This is not including single target or AoE resistance, however. It's mostly the attack types. From here we have, I mean, you could choose between different espers, but this one would be Death Machine, because you'll be going for the defense, the crit evasion, as well as the missile resistance. And then we have the Leonis Castle Vision card, which gives 15 defense and spirit. With this setup right here, Engelbert has 91 defense going into the battle with no buffs on, and 20 spirit. As you can see from this, he is super physically tanky, and that's kind of like the cheese you want him to use him as against physical compositions, which is why this is like an example set for Engelbert. I'm not going to say it's the best, it's not like super good, or like I recommend this. This is just an example of what it is. Now, future stuff to consider. Future stuff, we do know JP side, they just got Golbez, and holy moly, Golbez is super beefy bruisery against just damage in general. He would literally heal, like, Golbez will literally heal off Engelbert, because Golbez does have like a damage drain ability that if he deals damage for like 3 turns, he can heal off that. Engelbert is not only going to do like no damage to Golbez will also heal off Engelbert, which is very, very depressing to see, but literally any magic user will be highly effective against Engelbert just in general. From here, Dark Element and magic damage in general will be very effective. Valentine's Slayer actually hits very, very hard for just her raw magic damage output. She can definitely make very, very quick work of Engelbert if she wanted. Helena, as we discussed earlier, not only is she a dark type and literally still, I don't even know if it's arguable, but still the strongest magic DPS dealer right now, she will literally delete Engelbert very, very quickly. So yeah. We've come to the end of the video. This is basically my setup for Engelbert. Yeah, overall, if you like this, please leave a like and or comment, and until next video, peace out.